Okay, we are going to go through setting up some different data controls when we're adding tables and charts to a report. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a time series chart, and I'm going to click on this. So I have this sample GA data source that's pulling data from Google Analytics. And that's good. Maybe I'm going to switch this to sessions. Okay, now I want to add a couple of different ways of adding filters to this data. So the first thing I'm going to do is a drop-down list. And maybe I'll put it here. And then for my drop-down list, what I want is I'm going to do default channel grouping. And because I only have one report here, and I'm adding a filter control, it is automatically going to apply to this chart. I'll show you if you want to do something different than that in a second. Just a little bit. Okay, so I have my default channel grouping, and let's just have a quick look at what that does. So now here, what I can do is I can say, well, I want to just see direct traffic. What's the trend for direct traffic? Or I could pick a couple different channels. So that's the basic idea of that. All right. Now I want to show you something that's I think is pretty helpful. So I've got sessions here. Now let's try, I'm going to put a table in here. So drop this table. And the dimensions I'm going to add, so I'll click here. I'm going to change this to, we'll go gender. And then I'm going to add another dimension. I've got age right here. Okay, so now I have age and gender. I'm going to pop this up here because I want to add another table in a minute. And make this a little smaller. And so it shows me overall sessions for age and gender. So one thing that I can do with this is I can go down to the bottom and I can say apply filter. So this is super cool. So what this does is now when we view this report, if I just want to see, say, what's the trend for males 65 and over, then I can see that. So pretty cool, right? Okay, now I'm going to show you another pretty cool thing. So I'm going to add a pivot table. And my row dimension will do the same thing. I'm going to say this time I'll put age as my row, got gender as my columns, sessions. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and apply filter. And then I'm going to view here. So what's great about using a pivot as a filter is I can pick columns and rows. So if I just want to see male versus female, if I want to see age, but then I can also look at the intersection, right? So I can do the same thing I did in the table before. It's also interesting that it's updating this table, which, you know, right now maybe that seems sort of superfluous, but well, let's go ahead. I'm going to make this a little smaller. And then over here, let's go ahead and we'll do full conversion rate. And then what else do I want to add? Let's go ahead and I'll add bounce rate. Okay. So now we've got a few different dimensions here, and a little bit, it's fine. So then when I view it, if I click on a dimension here, it's going to give me detail, but it's also going to show me the overall trend. All right, then the last thing I wanted to show you is that, so now let's say that I'm going to do a pie chart over here. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to put gender. I just want to see ratio of male to female. And okay, so now got that. Organize it a little bit. Put it up here. Okay, so then I can go ahead if I want to, and I'm going to go and I'm going to add another drop-down filter, and I'm going to make that the default channel grouping. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on both these things. So I'm holding down the Shift key and clicking. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to group these. And so then what that does is, when I'm viewing the report, I can do this default channel grouping, and I can say I just want to see organic search, and it's just going to update that pie chart. So again, if you want a control that only affects one chart, you just select the control in the chart, and then you can have it control multiple charts on a page. But if you want to have some controls filtering one set of charts and a different set of controls filtering another set of charts, you do that grouping, and